So many people find themselves in a situation where they really can't get out from under. People get sick, people get injured. Hello, I'm attorney Lewis Haskell, and this is Legal Corner. Today I would like to talk about bankruptcy and, frankly, why it exists. Fortunately, too many people seem to believe that bankruptcy is evil or unfair, or there's all kinds of bizarre notions concerning bankruptcy and what it is. And it's really rather surprising because, frankly, bankruptcy is a necessary component of any market capitalist system. And on top of that, it's enshrined in our Constitution. Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution authorizes Congress to make uniform laws concerning bankruptcies. And it's through that authority that, of course, it has created the Bankruptcy Code, which is Title 11 to the United States Code. When I was in law school, I studied the Uniform Commercial Code, which, among other things, is the law of debtor-creditor relations. And when we were in that section of the UCC, we clever, witty, brilliant law students did not refer to it as the UCC anymore. We started calling it the BAW, for Bank Always Wins. Because what the Uniform Commercial Code says about debtor-creditor relations is, in effect, bank always wins. You borrowed the money, pay it back. That is our fundamental law. And it's ruthless in its enforcement, absolutely brutal in its enforcement on that side of things. In fact, the bulk of the BAW, the bulk of the UCC, doesn't even really deal with debtors at all. It's more about how banks decide among themselves who gets what when the debtor just doesn't have enough money to pay it all back. So in a system where bank always wins, you need to have some manner of a safety valve. You need to have something to release the pressure from this pressure cooker, or else it's going to explode. You're going to have people who are absolutely crushed by their debt. You're going to have people who, frankly, have no reason to get out of bed in the morning because the bank is going to be taking everything that they make. And that safety valve is the bankruptcy code. And frankly, it is the only safety valve that's built into our system writ large. And truth be told, the banks do quite well with it. Now, I'm pleased to say that in my career, I have discharged tens of millions of dollars of Citibank debt. I also own Citibank stock. It's an incredibly profitable company. In fact, all of our banks are incredibly profitable. And you know where they're making the most money? It's in their credit cards. In fact, I was thinking about this today. I'd be curious to look at how profitable their credit card businesses are compared to how profitable their student loan business is. And yet, student loans are protected from bankruptcy and credit cards are not. But the credit card system works great for the banks, notwithstanding the fact that credit card debt is easily discharged in bankruptcy by anybody who wants to go down that path. It is a fundamental principle of economics. I used to be an economist before I went to law school. It's a fundamental principle there that in a perfect market, you have ease of exit. You can form a business and you can get out of a business. And the bankruptcy code, again, is part of that market capitalism plan. So there's really no reason to be condemning this as somehow cheating the system when the system demands that it exist. So many people find themselves in a situation where they really can't get out from under. Some situations are obviously sympathetic. People get sick. People get injured. Sometimes it's unexpected, but not altogether strange. People get divorced. When I first started practicing bankruptcy, it was in the 1980s. It was during the Massachusetts Miracle days. I worked for a firm that did a lot of divorce and a lot of bankruptcy, and it was the divorce practice that fed the bankruptcy practice. The economy was great until it wasn't. And sometimes it isn't, and that happens too. I like to joke that as a bankruptcy lawyer, the great financial crisis was the good old days, because a bankruptcy lawyer's world is upside down. But a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, came into my office back in 2008, 2009, 2010. They were masters of the universe. They were doing great. They thought they were never going to have a financial problem again in their lives. And then the great financial crisis hit, and they're in here filing bankruptcy. It happens. Nobody expected that. It came. They got wiped out. You have people who try to form businesses, and the businesses fail. And then you have people with deeper problems that manifest themselves in the form of debt. Addictions, such as gambling, is a big one. Marital problems often result in spending that might not be the most responsible in the world, but is kind of to be understood. And again, what are we going to do with these people? What are we going to do with these people when they can't pay their bills? Tell them to starve? It's not going to work. And the bankruptcy code recognizes that. And so that is why we have the system that we have. The system works. I think one of the reasons that people get so upset, for example, about the student loan forgivenesses that we have, is that this is an ad hoc and frankly, in many ways, unfair way of dealing with a problem that needs to be dealt with because the bankruptcy code does not. I mean, in other words, if students who need the protection go into bankruptcy court and get it like everyone else, we wouldn't be having this humongous student loan crisis that we're having right now. But general forgivenesses basically mean that people who are doing very well are getting the forgiveness because, as I say, it's done ad hoc. It's done in a really not a thoughtful manner, unlike the bankruptcy code. I think that this presents, that I presented a number of reasons for why the code exists and why people really shouldn't feel bad about availing themselves of it. It was created for a reason. And the alternatives really aren't out there. So if you have any questions about the bankruptcy, or if I could be of any assistance, by all means, please do not hesitate to contact me in my office. Until then, thank you.